is Mike Mortis. I'm the Chief Information Officer for Mercer's outsourcing business globally. What I'd like to talk to you about today is business process management and how we're working with Cordys to take that to the next level. So I'll go through a presentation, take a question or two, and then wrap up. So the topics that I'll cover are a little bit about our business as a whole globally, what some of the challenges we're facing are, how we're using the Cordys solution, how that's benefited us, and then, as I said, some concluding remarks and questions. So Mercer's global outsourcing business serves about 10 million participants worldwide across three major areas: defined contribution administration for employees, defined benefit or pension administration for employees, and benefits administration, primarily in the U.S., but globally is known as flexible benefits administration. In the U.S., it would be health and benefit administration. You'll see our major service centers and how many people we have. As you can imagine, with that many transactions, this many service centers, with a fairly significant offshore presence, business process management is something that's critical for our success. We recognized that several years ago, and approximately 2 years ago, we selected Cordys as our core platform globally for outsourcing for business process management at Mercer. In terms of what we do with our clients, you'll see that at the company level, we are responsible for implementing plan setup, doing process design around those plans, and ultimately setting up record-keeping service delivery, being compliant, and giving them back reporting about how their employees are using their benefits, whether those are pension, flexible benefits, or defined contribution benefits. At the employee level, then, we're helping them make decisions about their pensions or their benefits, make the elections around those things. When are they going to retire? How much are they going to get when they retire? We're obviously executing all the transactions and advocating on their behalf. And then as they are moving on to different phases of their life, we're distributing money to them or doing rollovers into different types of investments. So there's a lot we're doing at the very detail level that needs to be controlled and needs to be compliant. And then there's a lot of summary information that we're providing at the company level. So it makes for a very complex set of processes and a very complex set of information sharing globally. And we're working with Cordys to have them be the center of that entire process. So in order to deliver in this world, we need to basically make sure that we are constantly looking at ways to make our process repeatable, make them clearly defined, repeatable, automate them and integrate them wherever possible, and be able to move our work into the best possible location at the best possible cost where we can have the right people with the right skills doing it at the right time. And so this circle really represents that, and we are constantly looking at this and looking at the additional processes we can automate. In addition, with data privacy and compliance becoming ever important globally, we believe that making sure we can track who's changing what, making sure that we have appropriate peer reviews are also critical to our success. So processes that used to be maybe straightforward and completed by one person now really need to be peer reviewed, or if we don't believe that the system has completely automated something, we need to make sure that we are tracking the manual steps in addition to the automated steps and making sure that process is moving as quickly and efficiently as possible. So what are some of our challenges in that? I've touched on some of them a little bit already. One, as is with any business, driving out cost. When we are doing processes, many, many times we want to do that as efficiently as possible and, as I said, in the lowest possible cost way at the highest quality. We have a disparate set of record-keeping systems globally. Not every country handles pensions in the same way or handles benefits in the same way, and these are often brought together by people instead of systems, so we need to make sure we take that into account. We need to be able to leverage what we've built already. A lot of people have invested a lot of money in record-keeping systems, in surrounding systems over time, and wherever possible, if that system is doing what it needs to do, we want to be able to leverage that, but we also want to be able to take it to the next level by integrating it into a, if not country-based, a global process. As I mentioned, the data privacy requirements are increasing, and as I also said, are working to move work to our low-cost processing centers. All of these things continue to be challenges, as well as continue to be drivers from our clients, the people who are writing us checks every day in order to deliver their work in a quality way, and they are expecting more and more of us in terms of process efficiency, accuracy, and compliance. So none of this is going toward a more loose arrangement. It's, if anything, the requirements are going up. Really what Cordys allows Mercer to do, right, is address these challenges and in our world be able to take it to the next level. So I'll talk a little bit about what that means. You can see the words that I have on the slide here, which line up with these challenges that I talked about on the previous page. I want to call attention to a couple of the critical ones. Number 4 there, we really believe that as a global firm, it's in our interest to implement a set of global best practices that may start in one geography, but then be able to propagate everywhere. And Cordys' architecture and environment allows us to do that. As I mentioned already, number 5 on this list, encapsulating existing solutions. You know, we need to leverage what we have already without having to replace it, and if we are replacing it, be able to do that in a constructive way over the course of time. And then the last one, we really have a lot of SLAs that are tied to direct penalties to us, so the fewer errors that we make, the better off we are. And while that's not always the easiest thing to measure, it is critical to the success that we believe is in our future, and we believe Cordys is critical to helping us drive down those error counts and making sure that our processes are automated and straight through wherever possible. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about volumes and savings. You'll see that there are a couple core processes that we have been able to drive using Cordys and our workflow environments that are have really benefited in a significant improvement in our operation. And you'll see the primary one amongst them is the document management process. We handle approximately 1 million documents a year that are imaged. They are sent around the globe. We've been able to eliminate manual processing of these, automate the indexing of them, control them, and most importantly, when a client wants to see one, we actually have it available through our websites for them to see. So there are just many, many different levels that benefits us. You also see the increase in productivity, the increase in audit review across all the inbound data management, carrier file processing, and member request processes. So all of these have benefited us tremendously, and we continue to, what I view, take these to the next level, which is ultimately what we want to do is have a straight-through process where Cordys is allowing us to integrate directly from our clients' environments. So we're actually wrapping our clients' environments through to our environments, and then ultimately if there's an insurance carrier or another insurance company on the back end that we're interacting with to interact all the way back to them, and that will allow us to tie together that whole process, control it a lot better, and make it a lot more efficient. So that really is where we're focused. I guess a couple of concluding thoughts before I take questions. We are in the process of rolling out Cordys globally, and that's replacing a whole series of existing workflow solutions that are custom built, some other packages, but it's allowing us to get a lot more leverage as we look across the world. As I just noted, we're beginning to integrate Mercer's client solutions into the frameworks that we have, which to me is an incredible opportunity for us as a business because it helps our clients. It's a win-win in helping our clients and helping us. The other thing that we've done is we've been able to create a global center of excellence around Cordys. So we have standards, we've built frameworks, we've taken from the Cordys community, we've been able to leverage things that other people have built to build into our frameworks, and we've been able to develop, in working with Cordys, a set of very knowledgeable, skilled architecture development resources that we can then deploy across the world as these processes begin to be automated. And the last one I'll say, having worked across the BPM industry for a while in various roles or used various products, Cordys is a very open environment. There's a very strong community of people who are developing, who have created workflows on top of the Cordys solution. And one of the things our architects and developers like the most is that we're not dealing with something that's unknown. Rather, all the things that Cordys has done have been open industry standard, and that's really accelerated our development community's adoption of the solution. And I wouldn't be here talking with you if I really didn't believe that we are looking forward to an even brighter solution, or even brighter future based on the Cordys solution in the years ahead. Thank you, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Mike. That was great. I think we've got one question here, which was just, you know, and I don't know if you have these to hand, but the question was, you know, how quickly did you kind of get an ROI on the Cordys solution, and what factors do you kind of really measure your return on investment by, I guess is the question.
It's a great question. I think ROI we look at as total cost of ownership offset against the benefits that we see from implementing any given solution. So I'll set that as a starting point. So total cost of ownership is really driven by the ability of Cordys, has been driven by the ability of Cordys to work with us as a global provider and structure an arrangement where financially we were able to leverage what we created using the Cordys solution globally without having to incur significant additional costs. So that Cordys really has done a great job in working with us through that first part of that equation. I think the second part of that then is the savings that we are able to achieve as offset against that total cost of ownership. I think in that case, what we were really looking at here are the labor that's associated with manually processing a lot of these documents or tracking and recording the audit trails that are required. I think we were also looking at the time that it takes for issue resolution, or the time that it takes, the reduction in time that it takes to respond to audit requests, which is a fair amount as you look across our world globally. And the last one is the reduction in errors that we have, and how that lowers the risk to our business, but also lowers any of the SLA penalties or the other E&O penalties that we might otherwise have in our business globally. So all of those things are a benefit to us, and at the volumes that we process every year, you can see that those quickly add up. I think process by process, the realization that those are different. To get to the level where we are today, it's taken several years, but we anticipate that this will only increase, and obviously we'll be able to scale our business without having to significantly scale our operation as we add processes into the Cordys environment. Thank you, and I look forward to the future.